This is part two of my regarding the Southern wrestling. So as I was saying, there was a tremendous rivalry and a tremendous work between Ole Anderson and Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, who pretty much did a Muhammad Ali imitation his entire career. I mean, he pretty much was channeling Muhammad Ali. My favorite one is when he and Andre the Giant was going to face Ole and Gene Anderson, and he goes, the biggest foot, the longest tongue, the biggest ear, the biggest nose, the biggest feet, the biggest hands. I mean, he just went on and on. I mean, he had that kind of rattle and rattle and rattle and rattle and come on and on and on and on and on and on. That's what he did. He did it great. Still does it. And in that particular match, Gene supposedly sat there while Ole drove Andre's head into him, and he took the sacrifice for them to win. I believe that's what happened. But I don't know. I didn't see it. I didn't get to go to the Omni. That's what they were always saying. Go to the Omni. Go to the Omni. Go to the Omni. I mean, I never got to go. I was in a motel once in 1982 overlooking the Omni. I was somebody's guest. Somebody had a lot of money. That was a long time ago. That's a whole different subject. But anyway, there they were. So, Georgia Championship Wrestling was unbelievable. That's where I first saw Mr. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Woo! Harley Race. That's the first time I saw Mr. Race. I alluded to him earlier, Nature Boy, Buddy Landell, the Anderson brothers, just the father of that, one half of that Southern team. Those people that D-Generation X, the guy that talks so well, that came in as a roadie, the roadie guy, his father, I forgot his name, but yeah. He was a part of that. His brother is already dead. Yeah. So, I mean, that was an incredible. Buzz Sawyer was incredible. Buzz Sawyer died way too young. Kevin Sawyer, who was a tremendous wrestler. Tremendous. He got into that whole, it was like he was in devil worship. I mean, it looked like he was into devil worship. And I remember how he turned. There was this guy who was like a sheik or some kind of evil thing, and he brought in Mark Lewin, Mark Lewin would act like he was crazy the whole time, and then he would do make faces and act crazy, and somehow these people got Kevin into that thing, and Kevin just turned, and Kevin actually turned on African American gentleman, sweetheart of a guy, Tony Atlas, and I met Tony at the gym. He was with the World's Strongest Man, and that guy's a jerk. That World's Strongest Man, Mark Henry, he's a jerk. He has no class. He acted like a jerk. He was mean. There was no reason for it. No reason for that. I didn't do anything to the guy except say hello to him. So you're a jerk, Mark Henry. If you don't like it, come beat me up, and it'll cost you millions. Okay, because you're a jerk. And they had that other African American guy who was there, who was a referee, who became a manager, and who's now the general manager over of one of the shows on the WWE right now. So that was just deep stuff there at Georgia Championship Wrestling. And I remember when Mr. McMahon came in and bought it, and then they had the WWE, and it was phenomenal. And then it flipped into the WCW. And that was just phenomenal stuff. But I don't want to I got another like 6 minutes on this, or 5 minutes, and I want to talk about a little bit about Georgia Championship Wrestling. Not Georgia, I'm sorry, Memphis. Because Memphis was, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest wrestling town in the world. Period. End of statement. It's the best. I already talked about Jerry Lawler, Mr. Lance Russell, Tommy Wildfire Rich was there. The Honky Tonk Man was from there. I remember the Honky Tonk Man when he came up as Wayne Ferris. And no better heel was ever created than the Honky Tonk Man. He has this way of getting under his people's skin, and yet he's just a sweetheart of a guy. I mean, he does his own show, and he does imitations of the Hulkster. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. And then he does Ric Flair where he goes woo woo woo. I mean, I'm doing Honky Tonk Man doing uh, both those guys, Hulk and the Honky Tonk is was a great wrestler. I remember when he came up, he just came up as kind of a smart aleck. That's the only thing I can call him. Wayne Ferris was his name, and that's when he came up. And when he got to the WWE, I don't know who come up with that gimmick about him being the Honky Tonk Man, but I mean it was incredible. And I remember when he beat Jake the Snake to win the Intercontinental title. My dad said, "Oh, that Elvis guy, he's going to win." My dad didn't never like wrestling, but he said, "Oh, the Elvis guy is going to win." That's what he said, and Dad was right. Dad was right a lot. But anyway, let's get back to Memphis. Memphis, as I said earlier, it was a 70% share, is what they said. And it might as well have been 100% because everybody knew about it. Everybody knew about it. Everybody watched it. Everybody knew it. And as the people in that, the regarding in the Southern culture, these people could take nobodies. Like they had the Bruise Brothers, these two African American guys that looked like just regular people, and they dressed them up in the Blues Brothers outfit, and they called them the Bruise Brothers, and they gave them a push, and I don't know, they sold out. They must have pushed them for at least a year or two, and they would just bring in all kinds of people. They would just take nobodies off the street and push them. You know, uh, they were just very talented, and this is directly from in regarding that. I don't know which one of them said it, but nobody could push them like Memphis, and that's the genius of Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler is a genius. Jerry Lawler has probably the best wrestling mind anywhere, and he doesn't take credit for it. Um, as I said, he's a great wrestler, and he has a great wrestling mind, and there is nobody who can come up with the venom and the vileness and the anger and the viciousness that man does when he wants to do a promo. I mean, my Lord, I've never seen anything like him. I mean, that guy, uh, and he can be a sweetheart too. I mean, he's just an incredible performer. And the people that came through there, Tommy Rich had a spell there. Um, uh, just oogles and oogles of people. Jeff Jarrett, I remember when Jeff Jarrett was there, and I remember the character Jeff uh, double R double T Jeff Jarrett, and he come in there. I mean, he was great, and he was just a blonde headed, good looking kid that was wrestling, and they brought him up, and that was a phenomenal thing. Mr. Jarrett understood. Mr. Jarrett understood that you were there and you wanted a show. You wanted to watch a show. You didn't want to be in reality, and you wanted a show. At the end of the day, you wanted to feel good. You wanted your guy to win. You wanted good to win and evil to lose. That's what it was about. There was no gray. There was no nothing. It was good versus evil. And it was phenomenal. And Mr. Jarrett understood that. One of the greatest promoters, another great wrestling mind. Maybe the greatest one of all. I don't know. I'm not qualified. Um, and these people could save any of these people. Either Mr. Jarrett or Mr. Lawler could go to TNA and save it if those idiots over there would listen. Because they're idiots. They have no clue what they're doing. They have the greatest talent I've ever seen. The TNA people have tremendous talent. That big kid that big evil kid that looks like an Undertaker rerun, and all those different people, they've got great talent there, and it's being wasted. So anyway, uh, that's all I have to say for now. Bye bye.